I can't believe these English signs are real. The ultimate translation fails. So, you think you know English? You might speak it every day, you might even dream in it, but I promise you, you have never experienced the English language in its final, most beautifully chaotic form. Forget Shakespeare, forget dictionaries. Today we're looking at signs so badly translated, they've accidentally become comedy gold. These aren't just typos, people, they are linguistic masterpieces of confusion. Some are so bizarre you'd swear they were written by an alien who was only given a vague second-hand description of human language. This is a journey into the heart of what happens when translation apps just throw their digital hands up and give up. Welcome everyone to our world tour of translation train wrecks. We've all seen a funny typo on a menu, but the examples I have for you today are on a whole other level. These aren't simple slip-ups. They're epic failures in communication born from a blind faith in automated translators. We are talking about signs that don't just give you the wrong information, they might just give you an existential crisis. They're the glorious result of literal word-for-word translations that completely ignore context, culture, and common sense. We're going to explore the best of the worst, the most legendary fails ever caught on camera and posted online for all of us to enjoy. Let's kick things off with a subject close to everyone's heart and stomach: food, culinary catastrophes, and menu disasters. There is no place more prone to translation tragedy than a restaurant menu. It's a battlefield where a simple dish can be twisted into a philosophical threat or a biological nightmare. These places tried to be welcoming to English speakers, but they ended up creating menus that read like a declaration of war on cuisine itself. Let's start with a classic: meat mussel stupid bean sprout. You can almost see the gears turning. Someone looked up the word for minced meat, and the translator just decided to get personal and spat out stupid. This sign isn't just wrong, it's judgmental. It's out here insulting the bean sprouts. What did the bean sprouts ever do to you, menu? This isn't just a meal, it's a roast. Then you have descriptions that sound less like food and more like a science experiment gone horribly wrong. One menu proudly offered a cocktail called a decomposed Moscow mule. I have so many questions. Is it served in a petri dish? Does it come with a biohazard label? Decomposition is not really a quality I look for in a drink. It implies the beverage has already been enjoyed, processed, and is now returning to the earth. I think I'll pass on the cocktail that's halfway to becoming a fossil fuel. But it can get even more personal. How about a buffet that offers, and I'm quoting here, David's nose? I'm sorry, what? Is David the chef? Is he okay? Has anyone checked on David? Did he have a really bad accident with the canapes? The specificity is what's truly terrifying. Not just a nose. David's nose. It's this kind of thing that makes you want to just order a salad and pray they didn't translate croutons into someone's lost fingernails. And just when you think dessert is a safe bet, you find a bakery selling wife cakes. At first it sounds maybe charming, like a home-style recipe. But then your mind starts to wonder, are they made by wives for wives? Or are they made of wives? The ambiguity is the real horror here. It could be a sweet treat, or it could be the start of a horror movie, and I am not brave enough to find out which. The same place might also offer a raw pie baked in a wrapping of foil. This isn't a description, it's a paradox. Is it raw? Is it baked? The sign says both. It exists in a state of quantum culinary uncertainty, both cooked and uncooked until you observe it. I'm not a physicist, but I'm pretty sure that's not how pies work. Alright, let's move from food that threatens your stomach to signs that threaten your sanity. These are the public notices and warnings that have one job: to be clear. And yet, they fail so spectacularly, you're often left in more danger than you were before. One of the most iconic examples is the simple wet floor sign. You'd expect caution, wet floor. But instead, you get something far more poetic and dangerous. Slip carefully. This isn't a warning, it's a challenge. It's an instruction for performance art. It's asking you not to avoid slipping, but to do it with style. How does one even slip carefully? Do you need to practice? Does it require special shoes? The sign doesn't want to prevent an accident, it wants to choreograph it. But the confusion doesn't just stop at floor level. Take a sign on a staircase in France. The French text meant going up is forbidden. Simple enough. The English version, however, read, "Do not stare, incredible." It's a verb I didn't know we had. It's not telling you not to use the stairs, it's telling the stairs to stop staring. Stairs, cease your aggressive staring at once. The sign seems to be picking a fight with the building itself. Then we have signs trying to protect nature that end up sounding like they're from a fantasy movie. A famous sign on a lawn in China was meant to say, "Grass is resting, do not disturb." A sweet thought. The translation, "Do not disturb, tiny grass is dreaming." All of a sudden, you're not in a park, you're in a fairy tale. You're a monster for even thinking about walking on this sacred dreaming turf. What could tiny grass possibly dream of? A world without lawnmowers? This sign is so wonderfully absurd, it's probably more effective than the original. I wouldn't dare step on a dreaming lawn. And sometimes the signs are just unhelpful in the most alarming way. In a hotel in Acapulco, a sign tried to reassure guests about the water quality by proudly stating, "The manager has personally passed all the water served here." Passed as in he approved it, or passed as in through his own kidneys? That is a critical distinction. One implies quality control. The other implies a health code violation of biblical proportions. Now, you might think these kinds of mistakes are just for small local shops. Oh, you would be wrong. Some of the world's biggest companies have fallen into the translation trap, creating marketing slogans that are legendary for all the wrong reasons. These weren't just funny, they were multi-million-dollar blunders. Let's start with a Hall of Famer. When Pepsi expanded into China, they brought their slogan, "Come alive with the Pepsi generation." In English, it's vibrant and exciting. The Chinese translation, however, was a bit too literal and a lot more horrifying. It read, "Pepsi brings your ancestors back from the dead." That's not a soda slogan, it's the beginning of a zombie movie. Imagine cracking open a Pepsi and suddenly your great-great-grandfather is in your living room asking what happened to the horse. For a culture with deep respect for their ancestors, this was an immediate disaster. But Pepsi wasn't alone. KFC also made a legendary fumble when they entered the Chinese market in the 80s. Their iconic slogan, "Finger lickin' good," got twisted in translation to become "Eat your fingers off." What was once a fun invitation to enjoy your meal became a gruesome, self-mutilating command. Luckily for KFC, they fixed it and went on to be hugely successful, but the legend of the finger-eating chicken lives on. The car industry is also full of these wrecks. When Ford introduced the Pinto in Brazil, they couldn't figure out why sales were so awful. It turns out Pinto in Brazilian Portuguese slang means tiny male genitals. It's safe to say not many people were rushing to drive around in a car named for a personal inadequacy. Ford quickly renamed it. Similarly, Mitsubishi had to rename its Pajero SUV in Spanish-speaking countries where the word is vulgar slang for someone who, let's say, enjoys their own company a little too much. And let's not forget the beer company Coors. They took their slogan, "Turn it loose," to Spain. In Spanish, the phrase was widely interpreted as an encouragement to suffer from diarrhea. It's a bold strategy to suggest your product causes severe gastrointestinal distress. And to top it off, the American Dairy Association's incredibly successful Got Milk campaign went to Mexico, where it was translated as "Are you lactating?" That's a very different and much more personal question. The world of mistranslated signs is a beautiful, chaotic, and hilarious place. It's proof that language is so much more than words. It's a living thing full of culture and context that a machine just can't get right. These signs, from threatening menus to poetic warnings and corporate blunders, remind us that communication is fragile. And when it breaks, the results are often pure comedy. So what's the lesson here? We've learned that you should never blindly trust a machine to speak for you, that tiny grass might be dreaming, and that you should probably think twice before ordering a drink that's been personally passed by the manager. But now I want to hear from you. You must have seen signs like this out in the wild. What is the most ridiculous, confusing, or just plain hilarious translation fail you've ever seen? Drop it in the comments below. I want to hear your stories of language disaster. And if you enjoyed this trip through the Museum of Mistakes, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the weird and wonderful corners of our world. Thanks for watching, and remember to always translate responsibly. Or, you know what? Don't. It's way funnier that way.